Good morning, it's Sunday, which means it can only be time for one thing. Yeah, it is time for Kids Church. Well, I hope you've had a really lovely week at school and at play, and if you've been back to some of your clubs, maybe football or swimming, I hope you've had a really lovely time. It's been great to do some of the things that we've not been able to do. So let's get on with today. What have we got on? Well, we've got all the usual things. We have got a game, we've got some prayer, some teaching, a video, and some songs to get up and dance around with. So before we start, let's ask God to be with us and open our ears this morning. Dear God, I pray that you will be with us this morning. I pray that you will help me speak the words that you've got me to speak, and that all our ears will be open and we'll be able to hear your word. Amen. Okay, well, it's time for a game, and I thought this week we'd have a true and false quiz. So I'm going to read some questions out, and if you think they're true, I want your thumbs up. If you think, no, that doesn't quite sound right to me, and you think it's false, I want you to give me a big X. Okay, I'm going to get the questions. Here we go. Question number 1. Moses spent 40 days and 40 nights in the wilderness. Is that true or is that false? Which one do you think it is? Have a think. True or false? Well done. It's false. Yeah, it was Jesus that spent 40 days in the desert, 40 days and nights. Moses spent a lot longer than 40 days in the desert. Next one. David actually killed Goliath by chopping off his head. Is that true or false? True or false? Well, it's actually true. Can you remember? He got the slingshot and he hit him on the head and he fell over, and then he got his Goliath sword and chopped his head off. Oh, sounds a bit gory to me. Question number 3. Genesis in the Bible, first book of the Bible, says that God created everything in 7 days. Is that true or false? Did God create everything in 7 days? Think back to that creation story. Wow, it's false, because God created everything in 6 days. Can you remember what he did on the 7th day? Yeah, he rested. He had a good old rest, which reminds us that we need to rest as well. Okay, number 4. King Solomon is famous for having 1,000 wives. 1,000 wives. Can you imagine that? Is that true or false? Oh, that's a 1,000 is a lot, isn't it? 1,000 wives. What? It's actually true. Can you believe that? In those times, people had lots of wives. Who knows? Question 5. Jonah was in the belly of a great fish for 3 days and 3 nights. Can you remember that story of Jonah going to Nineveh and trying to do what he'd not been told to do, and he ended up being swallowed by a big fish? We think it might have been a whale. Was it true or false? Well done, it's true. Yeah, absolutely. Question number 6. Moses took 2 of every unclean animal and 7 pairs of every clean animal into the ark. Is that true or false? Moses took 2 of every unclean animal and 7 pairs of every clean animal into the ark. Having a think. Moses? Well done if you caught that. Yeah, it wasn't Moses. Who was it? Tell me. Yes, it was Noah. Noah took the animals into the ark. Well done if you didn't get caught out with that one. I think that was a tricky one. Okay, well, that's all we've got on our quiz this morning. how did you do? How many did you get? Well, you can always rewind and watch again and make sure you get them all correct. We're going to head over now to our worship. We've got two great songs. We've got Nothing is Impossible, and that reminds us that God can do all things. So it's great to tell ourselves that again and sing and shout that out. And the other one we're singing this morning is He Knows My Name, because He knows all about you and He loves you just as you are. Here we go.